What's up, guys? Welcome back. What we have here is a 1986 Honda TRX 125 Fourtrax. Customer basically stated that it ran and no longer has spark. So we got one that apparently has no spark issue again. Cool little model, man. He's got some pretty nice tires on it. Me personally, I would probably go a little bit smaller on the rear, but that's just me. That's what it calls for on this thing. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna dive in, we're gonna double check what's going on. It does have an electric start switch on this thing. You can see the headlights all out of it. The front body works off, laying on the ground. That was the customer. And it looks like they probably have an aftermarket carburetor in here. Body work's coming off there. So let's throw you on my chest mount right here. Let's go ahead and get this body work off since they already have it all loose and ready to come out. We'll just go ahead and set this on the ground. And then I guess we're gonna need to verify 12 volts in that battery or not. So let's grab the good old multimeter here. Put it on DC. Over here, over there, and it says we have 12.38 volts DC, which should be good. Grab that, throw the parking brake on. Let's see this thing actually, I got nothing there. Well, she's got compression though, or did. Okay, so that's good. You can see there's water in there. Well, crap, I guess we can walk over here. I don't think the foot brake would make it. Oh, good Lord. They got fuses just hanging out over here. Holy smokes. All right, well, that's probably not a good thing. They're just laying around. I guess I could check to see if we get power across that. See if the ignition works at all. Oh, here we go. Run, nothing, nothing, nothing. Just want to see if it turns over. I just want to see if it turns over. We'll grab a front brake. Button again, and nothing there. So I'm gonna clean out all the cobwebs real quick. It's got cobwebs everywhere on this thing. Said it ran, it said it didn't. We're gonna clean the cobwebs out. Let's check this air box real quick. Just to take a look at what's going on inside. Missing one of the rubber pieces for the bodywork. Definitely an aftermarket carburetor, which understandable. It's getting hard to find parts for these older ones. Some of the aftermarket, oh, new uni air filter, sweet. Super clean in there. All right, well, put the airbox top back on. Doesn't have a, oh geez, doesn't have a hose clamp for the intake on the carburetor. What else we got going on around here? They said it had spark and now it doesn't. That's the scary part, because it could be a CDI, it could just be a ignition switch, kill switch, could be shit points on this thing. I'm pretty sure it's got that. So let's pop this cover off. Let's just take a look at that. Let's grab a number 2. Where did I put, oh, it's up here still from the last job. Oh yeah, impact driver. Let's check that out, because I'm worried that could be rusted inside there causing this issue. Hammer time. There we go. Get this stuff. Give her a nice little pop, break it loose. There we go. Try not to be too rough on some of this stuff. All right. We'll take this off, check that. We know the battery's got voltage. I probably need to check the starter solenoid and see what's going on with that too. But as this is part, of this ignition system. Oh yeah, nice and yuck inside there. So I'll clean that out. Let's go ahead and pull this bad boy over a little bit. I mean, it's not bad. It's a little yucky, but I'll spray all that out. We'll get that cleaned up. And then I'll check the starter solenoid and see if we can get that thing to spin this bad boy over. All right, so I know I got 12 volts going from the battery to the starter relay. I checked the continuity from here to the push button up top. I don't have anything when I push the button. So I'm gonna go ahead, got the key on. Let me hook this fuse back up real quick. And we'll see, we shall see if we have spark or not. I did verify that the starter does turn over when I jump the solenoid. So spark plug here somewhere. We'll try to get it in here somewhere. We can see if we got spark. Of course, nowhere wants to stay. How about that? Key is on. Jump the starter solenoid. If I can find the two. And no spark. All right, so is it ignition? Is it the switch? Is it the coil? We can always find out if we're getting power up to the coils and see if we're getting any type of voltage up there. Because what I have unplugged on the starter relay is just for the push button. Let me grab a pair of gator clips here to make everybody's life easier. And if we need to do a peak voltage read, we can do a peak voltage read also. So grab this. There. If it shows negative, that's fine. If it shows positive, that's fine. I just want to see if we're getting anything. Key on. Cross there. And let's go ahead and turn it over again. I don't think we're going to get any voltage. Got nothing running up to it. So I'm going to investigate the key switch and the starter switch. I have to make fun of myself, guys. I literally had the start-stop switch turned off. I thought I had it turned on. Apparently not. Okay, let's check for spark again. Still no spark. And no voltage. Key is on, everything's on. All right, let me investigate and see what else I can find. While I'm here, actually, let's go ahead and check the ohms on the primary circuit of the coil. See what we get down here. 0.5, cross it up. 0.3, so it leaves about 0.2. Let's run to this side and the secondary circuit. 4K ohms, that's pretty good. The cap. To the cap. Let's try the cap. Uh-oh. The cap is very intermittent. It looks a little rusty in here. Try to clean that out. I know it's not, you don't want to see my stomach hanging out there, guys, but it is what it is. Try this again. I'm gonna say something's going on with the spark plug cap for one. That's not reading right. Let me see if I got something up here on my shelf that will work for this. If I'm not mistaken, he did give me this coil. Not really a perfect match for this one, but we can definitely see if it changes anything. So we can go green to green, there to there. And again, we don't have any power. Well, we got power. I do have power running across that fuse. I did check that. So we can actually, you know what? I think what I'm gonna do, I know that coil's probably good. Not sure how I want to attack this. You know what? Let's go ahead and try this. Let's just go ahead and throw the spark plug back in here. We'll put it there, key on, run position. We'll jump the solenoid one more time. I do have power across the fuse, and I'll check for spark now. I don't think I saw any spark. Come on. Do me a favor, just be nice to me right now. Okay, let's put it up there. Let me go back over here to this. You guys probably won't be able to see spark from there anyways, but, and I got nothing. All right. But I just was checking the coil, checking all that. We can check this spark plug cap for sure, just to show you what's going on with this other one. So I'm probably gonna have to pull this off to touch. All right, touching there. Yeah, see that? As soon as I touch, telling me 1 ohm. I think that's a little low. But anyways, as soon as I touch, so there was an issue with that other spark plug cap. So I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna use the original coil with this aftermarket spark plug cap, just to see, after I inspect the ignition and the switch, to see if that is one of our main problems. All right, so I got it figured out what's going on. So I was checking everything out, checking power from the battery up to the ignition switch, and I had power to it, but I had no power coming out. So I was getting ready to take the ignition switch out. Now you can see we have, pull you off the stand here. We have nothing there, turn it on. Now we have a neutral light, but if I move it a little bit, neutral light goes out there. And put you back on my chest, see if you guys see that or not. I push the starter button now, and we have spark, and I put the old spark plug cap on, and it's working. So I thought when I was getting an intermittent deal on there, we're gonna have an issue with the spark plug cap is one, but we weren't getting any power to any of our switches, wasn't getting any power past the ignition switch. So that's why I started back here checking the buttons, checking all this, checking all that. I had to push the start button really, really hard to get it to work. So everything is good back here. I'll button up all that. Gonna figure out what we're gonna do about the ignition switch. In order to do that, I'll have to pull this out, and I'm gonna see if they have an aftermarket one available on Amazon for him. And then pretty simple to plug that in there, but that's why he lost his spark on this thing. So I'm gonna look in that gas tank too, because I think it's gonna be pretty rusty. But he said basically he just lost spark. So there we go. Ignition switch is an issue. We'll replace that. I'll put the rest of this back together, and then we'll see if this thing fires back off. I got the air box back on. I got my IV bottle hanging there. Everything is put back together when it comes to the wiring that we pulled out. Again, we're gonna have to change the ignition, but it still works right now. The old coil and cap is back on. It does have oil. I'll show you guys that. I did check that. Man, I cleaned this thing off and the little spiders are getting crazy. You can see it's got oil. It's kind of black, but it's there. All that's hooked back up. So let's see if we can't get this thing to fire off. They say it ran. Now the tank is full of rust, so I don't know what they want to do about that. Haven't asked. Not to that point of giving them a holler about that. I'm going to hold this up, get some fuel coming down into the carburetor. Hopefully we don't have any issues with it. I think we're going to have to get that down and out of the way. That's probably why they had that hanging there, because it hitting the choke. I don't know which way is which. All right, I don't see any fuel falling out of it, so that's good. Key on, starter button. You figure it would have hit by now with that. Let's see if we can spray a little something down in there. I know we're getting fuel here because if I turn that on, you see it leak out. It is on reserve. There is fuel going in. Let's loosen this up. Maybe we can get a little bit of some spray down in there. Of course, that's gonna be hard as a rock. Well, let's keep trying. I know we have spark. Off, on. Just move that around a little bit. If I can get the button to push. All right, try that direction. Nothing. All right, let's take the airbox off. I was hoping it would fire without having to do anything crazy. But I mean, who knows what the carburetor looks like? I mean, maybe it's not picking up any fuel. I mean, airbox has got, top's got to come back off anyways. Actually, no, I'm just gonna take the one bolt out of the back side and this whole thing will pull right off. That's what I'm gonna do. Just do that. Take this, stick this back together. The one bolt. And this whole thing just comes right off. Hard as a rock, but it fits. All right, so that's choke, that's not. Put my hand over it, see if we can pull some vacuum here. Oh, it's got some gnarly. Okay, it's got, yeah. It looks like it's got almost like, I don't know what that is. Something from the tank that was in there before, water in it, something. So picking that up, that's why it's not firing up. It's just got some nasty in there. All right, let's try again. It's just some pretty disgusting stuff. It's not picking up out of the float bowl, starter fluid. So what I think I'm gonna have to do is pull the gas tank off, pull the carburetor off. We'll check it out real quick. Oh, if it ain't one thing, it's another all the time. Can never have, this is why we can't have nice things. This is why we can't have nice things. Nothing's ever that simple. Should be, but it's not. Get that out of the way, get this up. what is that? Phillips. Okay. Has he got a square nut on the other side? There's that one. Let's walk around to the other side. See what they got going on over here. It looks like almost like a square nut. That's exactly what it is. A square nut. Okay. Well, that's good. Off. Let's walk over here. Flip it upside down. Look at the nastiness coming out of that thing. Holy smokes. Let's see, that should be the right size. 1, 2, oh, look at all that junk come out of there. Oh yeah, look at that. Holy criminies. So let's take this part apart. Make sure this is all nice and clean. And it's not. It looks like just water coming out. I mean, they said, oh, it ran, but now it didn't. Now it doesn't. So, when's the last time it ran? Holy crap! I mean, I saw the rust in the tank, but what did I do with my brake clean? I don't know. Not over there. Anyways, I got more bottles over here. Spray this out a little bit. We'll check on the Alright, so you guys can see the mess we have in there. The watery mess there. Phone call. While I was on the phone, I was just kind of cleaning this all out a little bit. There is rubber inside there. So I'm just going to spray most of this stuff out because it's just superficial. I haven't checked. Pilot jet's working fine. Spray the bowl out. Oh yeah. Scrape the bowl a little bit. And that is all just rust on the bottom. Fuel needle looks okay. Spray this side a little bit more here. That's all clean. Check the pilot jet out. Pilot jet is clear. Main jet is clear. Emulsion tube has been cleaned out. And we'll reassemble this really quick. Pretty simple carburetor. Nothing fancy. 7mm. Tighten that. Pilot jet. Now, fuel needle float. almost reminds me of a damn lawnmower float bowl carburetor. Make sure you match that hole up with that hole. Oh man, is that still? Oh no, that was pouring something else out. I'm like, holy smokes. Oh, geez Louise. It would help if I do this right. Got to look and I'm like, I got that on there wrong. Put this on there the right direction. I was like, why is that so high up? Oh, yay, air compressor. That's this. These. That. Spray this off a little bit on the outside. And then you wonder why it didn't run. We'll mess with the mixer screw later. I'll go ahead and get this thing back reinstalled. And then we'll see if she fires off. All right guys, so we got everything mounted back up here. We got fuel in there. Something I did learn while I have that apart, when this thing is actually pointed up to what it says reserve, it's actually working on this one down here. Vice versa, it turns the other way, working that one. Cheap Chinese aftermarket carburetors will do that. Key on, play with that a little bit, get it going. Let's hit this button, throw choke on, let's see what happens. Nice, right off the bat. Okay, choke off. Sounds pretty good. Play with this mixture screw a little bit, see what happens. Ooh, I think they're completely tight on that one. That was completely bottomed out, so let's go half, 1, half, 2, half, 3, half, 4, half. Not changing anything. Okay, it's a little bit worse there. Seems like a half a turn's about right on that. All right, now hanging idle. So nope. Okay, so there might be see how much plays in my throttle up here, because oh yeah, there's nothing, the throttle's tight, so I'm guessing this is going to need to go in. Oh yeah, now the throttle, now it's like, now we're jumping up. Okay. So what's happening, I'm adjusting this in up here, and what's going on is that, okay, now we got a little bit of free play. Okay, that's more like it. Now we can check. Now it's hanging that throttle open. All right, so basically, honestly, all the way closed. It's probably got the wrong size pilot jet in there, but it is running, idling. A little bit of smoky smoke coming out, but hey, whatever, but it is idling and running. So that's a positive right there. Again, we still got to change the ignition. One is on order, an aftermarket one. Hopefully it works, or they can just mess with that the way it is. I'll save that other one for something else. Gas tank, on the other hand, is completely rusted. I need to find out what they want to do with the gas tank. It's rusted as all get out. Now I did clean the pickup in there with some Scotch-Brite. We saw that basically we checked, everything else seemed okay. We thought that ignition coil spark plug cap was bad. It was intermittent, but it could have just been me on that. But I thought it was intermittent, I really did. So whatever. Fuse is good, battery's good, unit's quiet. So yeah, I'm gonna put the rear plastics back on, set the tank on here, and see what the customer wants to do about the tank. Because it didn't come in for the tank, it came in just for a no spark, and luckily enough, ignition. I really don't know what else to say about this little guy. We could take it for a ride, but it's on an IV bottle, and I'm not gonna go ahead, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna try to ride this on an IV bottle. So I'm gonna call this one done over. Bad ignition. We checked everything else it could be as far as like the fuses, the battery, the ground, the starter button, all those things. It just ended up being the ignition switch. It has a lot of rust in it and causing it to falter. New one coming in, I'll put it in. So again, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you need to get a hold of me, drop a comment right here on YouTube. Hit me up on Facebook at Limitless Power Sports Service and Repair. You can hit me on an email at limitlesspowersports78@gmail.com. Again, thanks for subscribing. If you haven't, consider doing so. Leave a comment, thumbs up, thumbs down, and I'll catch you guys on my next upload. All right, guys, so we got the tank all cleaned up. I ended up using Evapo Rust. This stuff actually works really, really well. It's not very harsh at all. I let it set, I used 2 gallons of it to fill it up to the top. I let it set for about, I don't know, 2 days and just shook it around every now and then, and it cleaned out probably 99% of the rust that was in there. There's some really thick rust down the bottom. And in one corner, I'm not going to be too worried about that. It's pretty much on there. It's not going anywhere. I got some 91 octane in here. Just replaced this key switch right here. I'll leave a link. It's from Amazon for that. The other key switch, as you guys know, wherever it went to, I was going to show it to you. All nasty, rusty. You can take those apart and probably clean up the contacts, but we just went with the new key switch. It is idling good. Again, when this is pointed at on, it's actually on reserve. It's just the way they've China screwed up on that one. So let's go take this thing for a little scoot. I haven't rode it yet. Let's see if this thing actually moves and goes somewhere now. None of the bodywork is bolted on in the front. It's just sitting on here. Tank's in there. Tank is bolted down. But let's go ahead and see if this little thing works. Front brakes work. Is it up is first? Oh, so it's look at that. As soon as you turn right, it pulls on that. That's not good. That's gonna have to be rerouted probably down and around. Oh yeah, baby. Little TRX 125, 1986. runs pretty good, actually. This would be fun for, like a little kid or something like that. Man, my foot definitely doesn't fit down there with the shit with that. Sounds like the clutch may be slipping a little bit. Or it just could be me too. I don't know. I haven't rolled one of these things, I don't think ever in my life. It barely pulls my big butt. Ooh-wee. Back down by the chickens. All right. Heck yeah. This thing does have reverse. I didn't even notice that till just now. Wasn't even paying attention. I was always staring at the neutral light. Let's get this thing back down. There's neutral. All right, so reverse. Oh, lights up. Heck yeah, and it works. Sweet. There we go. Let's turn that sucker off. There we go, man. This thing is pretty cool. Pretty cool little ride. Again, it's a 1986 Honda TRX 125.